Here we go then, kick-starting the action tonight on DAZN. Looking forward to it. Plenty to come your way over the course of the next few hours. And Andy, it's rare, let's be honest about it. You see a journeyman who's got a six-pack. That's a testament to the busyness and the experience that Gomez brings to the table tonight.
It is, and you know what you'll get from him. He's well organised, he's compact, he comes to have a go. The last time I saw him was in Riyadh back in February on that last Crescendo card, that mega card with Beterbiev and Bivol on it, and Joseph Parker and Martin Bacoli amongst many, many others. And it was just really entertaining to see him take part in grand arrivals and open workouts and all of that, and get that kind of spotlight when day to day, this is what he does. He's taken a call late on, have gloves, will travel, and as you say, he's turned up in good nick like he always does. Indeed.
Probably less of an issue for him to deal with, Gomez, than maybe O'Hara, who thought he was boxing last night. That slot on the show wasn't available. He thought he wasn't boxing. He might have checked out. I remember that was the case with Karl Froch, the first Michael Kessler fight, the ash cloud, you may recall, a few years ago. And Froch said he went and had a burger at the barbecue, thought the fight was off, and found it quite difficult to get back into fight mode, whether that played a part or not. But the psychology of the sport is so often important, and that's an early hurdle over the course of the last few days that O'Hara's had to deal with.
It really is, as he sinks a nice right hand into the body, and it's not to be underestimated, because he may well have decided, okay, I've trained hard, I was keyed up for this, it's really disappointing, I'm going to go and relax. But the fact that he's been happy to take this fight suggests that he can't have done, not to any great extent, but as you say, a pretty serious reset is required. And although Gomez doesn't win all that often, if you're not on it, he can beat you.
Yeah, very compact, high guard, you can see he's trying to press, and he's landed a couple of left hooks, just enough to remind O'Hara that it might not be one-way traffic here tonight, and he's got to be switched on, focused, cognizant of maybe what's coming back. As much as this first night in his pro career, he's going to be hoping that he's the one dishing it out. Quite relaxed though, isn't he, O'Hara? I was watching him during the introductions and worrying, was there an element of tenseness and nervousness there, or was it just completely relaxed? Either way, very composed.
He's looked it so far. Nice right hand to the body again there from Gomez, and then just whipped it up over the top. He boxes out of Waltham Cross. That's where he spent his amateur career. Decent right hand again there from Gomez. He managed to ride that one though. O'Hara just took the sting off it.
You and I were here on Mothering Sunday, weren't we? And we saw a guy come in the Gomez role, who's generally used to losing, almost always does, is expected to provide experience for the young prospect. And on that occasion, said boxer really fancied it. You just get the sense in that first round that Gomez fancies it a bit tonight. So O'Hara might have to switch on, might have to switch up here.
It was pretty tight, that opening round, wasn't it? I don't think there was really much in that. And it's a four-rounder, obviously. That's a nicely picked right hand he's thrown there. As you say, he does look nice and confident.
Quite relaxed though, isn't he, O'Hara?
But every now and again,
I was watching him during the introductions and worrying was...
A couple of times in that first round, he took a little bit too long, and Gomez beat him to the punch. But I think we'll probably see him just up it the gear from this point onwards, because I think that's the key for him, really. Just get nice and busy. Get on top of a guy like Gomez. That's what you want to do, isn't it?
Particularly if you're going to stay in that kind of range where he is, that sort of three-quarter range.
Round two.
You need to be either throwing or defensively switched on if he's going to box at that range. Into the second then. I think he did do it. He threw a lovely right to the body, didn't he? One of the first shots he landed in that first round. And certainly a few people have come to watch him today, friends and family. And of course, he's a gym mate, Ross Driscoll, who's coming up a bit later on as well. He's in a few fights' time. I suspect they'll have been able to lean on each other, because Driscoll's also had to deal with that sort of disappointment of fights falling through. He was supposed to be on the last show that we did. So Ross Driscoll coming up in a few fights' time, he's probably been able to help O'Hara with dealing with that sort of disappointment and frustration. He just had to deal with a big right hand there, though, Andy.
And again there, he's caught 3 1-2s in a row now, and he's just ploughing in with that right hand, Gomez. And as you mentioned, if he's going to box at this kind of distance, O'Hara, he needs to be more switched on than this. He needs to be busy than this, because he's basically standing in range or on the borderline of range and then looking to pick his punches. That might be okay in sparring, but that's not going to work against somebody like this, against anybody, to be honest, in a real fight. So if he's going to box on that range, as we said, he has got to be busier, because he's waiting too long and Gomez is stepping in and throwing that 1-2, and he's clubbed him with it a few times in this round. He's winning this round.
Or meet Gomez with a jab, which he did a couple of times. He switched, but he's copped another right hand, and Gomez is fired up. He's been accurate and he's been busy.
And he's got the wind in his sails now, hasn't he? And that's absolutely what you don't want if you're making your debut against a guy like this. You don't want to ever give them a sniff, because when they get a sniff, they like it, don't they? And they feel like this could be the night where I get a win.
Absolutely, because these opportunities come along so rarely, and it's important that the prospect, on this occasion the debutant, snuffs out the hope early on. But Gomez has had a little bit of hope right from the very start, and now he's starting to fan those flames, and he's picking up on the mood that he created early on and trying to build on it.
There's some blood coming from behind the left ear there, I think, of O'Hara. There must be some kind of nick due to a clash of heads, you would imagine. It's not going to be any kind of a problem. It's an unusual place to suffer a cut. And there's another right hand from Gomez.
And he follows it up with a flurry. Not all of them landed, but he's been busy, and the eye-catching shots coming from Gomez is potentially turning into a bit of a nightmare for O'Hara, who's going to have to dig deep or find something else.
Well, Gomez has won this round. There wasn't much in the first round. Gomez has won that second round. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
And he goes back to his corner, Gomez, with a strut and a little nod to those ringside, as if to say, yeah, I'm in this, I'm up for this. Maybe a bit more than that. But he's often the fighters for Nicaragua. There's a good band of them. Most of them have kind of decamped over to Spain and box out of that part of Europe. He actually lives in Slovakia, but he rarely wins fights these days. I think you've got to go back to 2021 for the last time that he managed to pick up a win back home in Nicaragua. So he's settled into a role that pays the bills, and the phone keeps ringing. But tonight he's spotted some blood in the water. Round 3. O'Hara maybe slightly needs to change the mood, or whether it's tactics, whether he needs to pick up the pace, but he certainly, on the face of it, might need something different, and it looks like he's going to try and go through the gears.
I think he is, but he got caught by a right hand on the inside as he came forward there, because his chin was quite high as he came in. But I agree that he does need to try and mix it up almost and guts this out. It's going to be hard, though, because, as we said, Gomez has got some momentum. Corner telling him he's got to press, and they're right, aren't they? Because he is still on that borderline of range, and if he stays there without doing anything, we know what will happen. That is what will happen.
He's getting hit too often. There's the jab in the right hand, but the right hand's the story of the fight. I think he was off balance there. He should have been off balance. It looked like a bit of a push.
Be interesting to see that again. I think a jab landed and then he lost his feet, but to me it looked like a punch may well have started it, in which case 50-50 maybe, the referee could have called it.
Indeed, but right hand again from Gomez has been the story of the fight so far. It was a good start to the round from O'Hara. It looked like he was going to try and put Gomez back in his place or back in his box, but Gomez, as he has done all night, has come back firing.
And he's experienced, isn't he? He's just standing off and he's waiting for O'Hara, because he feels like O'Hara needs to commit and we make him right, and he's then just looking to pounce on that fraction of a second where he hesitates and he'll just let his hands go.
Left to the body, right hand. There's another right hand gets through from Gomez. You counted those plentifully tonight so far. And again, Gomez buzzing with intensity and desire. He's better.
With the dive, O'Hara, that was better defence.
Yeah, he landed a left hand, didn't he? And then trying to force his man back. There's a couple of body shots as well. And those moments when Gomez isn't punching, those are the times when O'Hara's got to press and keep him even more in his place.
It's a good right hand for Gomez as O'Hara was moving in then.
He's talking, Gomez, isn't he? Almost a little yee-haw moment to himself, and you can see the intensity as he dances round the target and tried to land that right hand again.
And the better punching again in that round was from the red corner, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was at the last minute, it looked like O'Hara was maybe just starting to press the moment and would have some success, and then Gomez fought back again and finished the round well. He's buzzing, isn't he?
He is. I wonder whether we'll get a look at the knockdown that wasn't given. There's a 1-2, and he is pulling his weight back there, O'Hara, so he's taken some of the sting off it, but it's still really easy for the referee who's scoring this one to see that land. The knockdown to me looked like a kind of long up jab landed. He then backpedaled, his feet got tangled and he went down. And if that is what happened, then the referee could easily have given that.
10 seconds.
Because it's a punch that causes the loss of balance. So
Seconds out.
if O'Hara's won that first round, which he may well have done, there wasn't loads in it, but he may well have done. For me, he needs this final round to get a draw.
Well, the first was very close. Second looked certainly Gomez as though he won it. 3, he did have that little period, didn't he, O'Hara? But again, lots of right hands landed by Gomez. So either way, you fancy O'Hara's got to win this final round to give himself a chance.
And this is better from him, isn't it? He catches a right hand there, but he landed a good right hand to the body and then covered up with that right glove to catch the left hook.
It's a rare sight of a jab from either so far in the 3 and a bit rounds there from O'Hara.
But he's holding the centre of the ring here. He's the one moving in on Gomez, so it's a good look for O'Hara in this round.
Both tried to land the right hand, both missed, but it was Gomez who came out of the exchange with the left hook, and again he landed another shot.
And it's those kinds of punches that are eye-catching. He does look like he's got a pretty solid chin, Rory O'Hara, because, as you said, he got clipped by a solid left hook there, and he's not budged an inch whenever he's been hit by Gomez.
Well, who knows what the last couple of days have been like for O'Hara. You've got to say, little Gomez has come in fired up tonight, hasn't he? And not just fired up. There's been technique and desire.
O'Hara's definitely pressed it, as his corner was asking him to in an earlier round, better in this round, but the punches that you remember in the round really have come from Gomez still. But there he is again in the middle of the ring. O'Hara looking to try and force Gomez back. Good right hand to the body.
Was. He went upstairs and then downstairs, landed them both with the right hand. O'Hara, better from him. Gomez lets fly. They're both in range, and that's... O'Hara's been in range all night. He's been there to be hit. And Gomez has done plenty of that throughout. It's been a really spirited effort from both of them in this final round. O'Hara needed some kind of response. He certainly found it. Was it enough to get him something on the night, though?
It's a good fight to watch. Gomez is a good fighter. He's a tough guy. He made that move, as you explained, over from Nicaragua. He gets regular work. He's game. He will certainly come to try and mix it as much as he can. You very rarely see him just cover up. He has been stopped a couple of times in the last year or so. That's how he does it, which is quite unusual for an away corner fighter. So he's a tough guy, to be honest with you, to take on debut. Yeah,
he's the kind of, to be fair, he's the kind of guy you put in with maybe a 6-0, a 10-0. You know, he's been stopped, as you say, a couple of times, but it's Campion, Peter McGrail, you know, really good operators. So little smile, little rueful smile on the face of Gomez. I wonder what he's expecting here.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 4 rounds of boxing, we go to the referee scorecard. Referee Amy Poon scores the bout 40-36, and your winner, Engel Gomez!
Well, in truth, you can't argue with the result. Maybe you could have a dispute about a round or two here or there, but in truth, Gomez landed big punches repeatedly throughout the fight, and in the end, it's turned out to be a bit of a disappointing, frustrating debut for Rory O'Hara.
It was 4-0 on Amy Pugh's card. I'm not going to argue the first round was close. He could have got that one, O'Hara, but rounds 2 and 3, Gomez won clearly, and I thought he won the fourth as well. So worst case scenario, I was kind of looking at 3-1 for him, but 4-0, I understand it, and that is tough for O'Hara, but he shouldn't be too down about it. As you said, the circumstances weren't ideal, and he's a hard guy to take on debut.
Listen, Bernard Hopkins lost on his debut. Some of the greats in the sport, it didn't go right first time up, so you only need to look down the history books. And more importantly, I think for O'Hara, all you need to do is look at some of the things he did and some of the things that he didn't. There were obvious mistakes. It's a bit flat-footed. He was too easy to hit because he was in range a little too often. So plenty to work on, and that's what it's all about at this stage of any young career.